The Angkorian period may have begun shortly after 800 AD, when the king Khmer Jayavarman II announced the independence of Cambodia from Java. According to Stockholm inscription, circa 781, Indrapura was the first capital of Jayavarman II, located in Pantiek Brainokor near today's Kampong Cham. After he eventually returned to his home, the former kingdom of Changla, he quickly built up his influence, conquered a series of competing kings, and in year 790 became king of a kingdom called Kampuja by the Khmer. He then moved his court northwest to Mahendra Parvata in present-day Gulen Mountains, far inland north from the Great Lake of Tonle Sap. He also established the city of Hariharalaya, now known as Trolos, at the northern end of Tonle Sap. Through a program of military campaigns, outlands, marriage, and land grants, he achieved a unification of the country bordered by China to the north, Champa, now central Vietnam, to the east, and the ocean to the south, and a place identified by a stone inscription as the land of Cardamoms and Mongols to the west. In year 802, Jayavarman articulated his new status by declaring himself universal monarch, Chakravartin, and in a move that was to be imitated by his successor and that linked him to the cult of Shiva. Taking on the epithet of God King Devaraja, before Jayavarman, Cambodia had consisted of a number of politically independent principalities collectively known to the Chinese by the names Funan and Chengla. In year 889, Yasovarman acceded to the throne, a great king and an accomplished builder. He was celebrated by one inscription as a lion man. He tore the enemy with the claws of his grandeur. His teeth were his policy. His eyes were the Veda. Near the old capital of Hariharalaya, Yasovarman constructed a new city called Yasoharapura. In the tradition of his predecessor, he also constructed a massive reservoir called Baray. The significance of such reservoirs has been debated by modern scholars, some of whom have seen in them a means of irrigating rice fields, and others of whom have regarded them as religiously charged symbols of the great mythological ocean surrounding Mount Meru, the abode of the gods. The mountain in turn was represented by an elevated temple in which the god king was represented by a lingam. In accordance with this cosmic symbolism, Yasovarman built his shrine to Sun temple on a low hill known as Nobakang, surrounding it with a moat fed from the Baray. He also built numerous other Hindu temples and ashrams or retreats for ascetics. Over the next 300 years, between year 900 and 1200, the Khmer Empire produced some of the world's most magnificent architectural masterpieces in the area known as Angkor. Most are concentrated in an area approximately 15 miles east to west and 5 miles north to south onto the Angkor Archaeological Park, which administered the area, includes sites as far away as Ban Spin, about 30 miles to the north. Some 72 major temples or other buildings are found within this area, and the remains of the several hundred additional minor temple sites are scattered throughout the landscape beyond. Because of the low density and dispersed nature of the medieval Khmer settlement pattern, Angkor lesser formal boundary and its extent is therefore difficult to determine. However, a specific area at least 1,000 square kilometers beyond the major temples is defined by a complex system of infrastructure, including roads and canals that indicate a high degree of connectivity and functional integration with the urban core in terms of spatial extent, although not in terms of population. This makes it largest urban agglomeration in recorded history prior to the Industrial Revolution, easily surpassing the nearest slum by the Manya city of Tikal. At its peak, the city occupied an area greater than modern Paris, and its buildings used far more stone than all of the Egyptian structures combined. The principal temple of the Angkorian region, Angkor Wat, was built between 1113 and 1150 by King Suryavarman II. Suryavarman ascended to the role after prevailing in battle with a rival prince. An inscription says that in the course of combat, Suryavarman leaped onto his rival's war elephant and killed him, just as the mythical birdman Garuda slay a serpent. After consolidating his political position through military campaigns, diplomacy, and firm domestic administration, Suryavarman launched into the construction of Angkor Wat as his personal temple mausoleum. Breaking with the tradition of the Khmer kings, and influenced perhaps by the concurrent rise of Vaishnavism in India, he dedicated the temple to Vishnu rather than to Shiva. With walls nearly half a mile long on each side, Angkor Wat greatly portrays the Hindu cosmology, with the central towers representing Mount Meru, half of the gods, the outer walls, the mountains enclosing the world, and the moat, the oceans beyond. The traditional theme of identifying the Khmer Devaraja with the gods and his residence with that of the celestials is very much in evidence. The measurements themselves of the temple and its parts in relation to one another have cosmological significance. Suryavarman had the walls of the temple decorated with bas-reliefs depicting not only scenes from mythology but also from the life of his own imperial court. In one of the scenes, the king himself is portrayed as larger in size than his subjects, sitting cross-legged on an elevated throne and holy court, while a bevy of attendants make him comfortable with the aid of parasols and fans. King Khmer Jayavarman VII. Following the death of Suryavarman around 1150 AD, the kingdom fell into a period of eternal strife. Its neighbors to the east, the Cham of what is now southern Vietnam, took advantage of the situation in year 1177 to launch a waterborne invasion up to the Mekong River and across Tonle Sap. The Cham forces were successful in sacking the Khmer capital of Yashoharabura and in killing the reigning king. However, a Khmer prince who was to become King Jayavarman VII rallied his people and defeated the Cham in battles on the lake and on the land. In year 1181, Jayavarman assumed the role. He was to be the race of the Angkorian kings. Over the ruins of Yashoharabura, Jayavarman constructed the walled city of Angkor Thom, as well as its geographic and spiritual center, the temple known as the Bayon. but relives as the Bayeux depicts not only the king's battles with the jump, but also scenes from the life of the Khmer villager and courtiers. Jayavarman oversaw the period of the Angkor's most prolific construction, which included the building of the well-known temples of Taprom and Brekhan, dedicating them to his parents. This massive program of construction coincided with the transition in the state religion from Hinduism to Mahayana Buddhism, since Jayavarman himself had to adopt the latter as his personal faith during Jayavarman's reign. Hindu temples were alterated to display images of the Buddha, and Angkor Wat briefly became a Buddhist shrine. Following his death, the revival of Hinduism as a state religion included a large-scale campaign of desecrating Buddhist images and continued until Theravada Buddhism became established as the land's dominant religion from the 14th century.